អាមេរិកហ្នឹងចែករំលែកដល់បងប្អូនប្រុសស្រីជាឪពុកម្ដាយ Lily, can you tell us a little bit about your experiences here in the United States as a student and as a person who's in the state? What are some of the things that parents should know when their children attending the university or colleges in the United States?
Well, some tips that they should know is to do some research. If you're not doing some research of like what the university that your kid is going to, it can be a very big pressure on the student, because coming from myself, I feel like, thank goodness my mom had experience going to school, but if you don't have experience going to school, it can be very hard to kind of accommodate to your child, because coming as like where I'm from, I feel like it was very not difficult, but it was easier, but it could have been better. I feel like there could have been better opportunities. I'm very grateful for the opportunity I was given, but I felt like if you are not going with a mindset of like what to do, it could be very difficult. So just doing some research on, the orientations that they're having, or like the programs that they are offering, and knowing what the university mission plan is or what their goal is can better help suit your child and like their expectations. Because sometimes as a student, your first time there, everything is so confusing. Like you're overwhelmed, you're going to be stressed. So having or doing or just offering yourself to your child would really be helpful. Like what can I do to like make you feel less stress? Whether that's your parents coming on your first day for the move-in, whether it's your parents helping you. Like I know a lot of Asian parents, we show love through actions, but also hearing the words like, I am proud of you, I am so proud that you are continuing your education, can be very soothing for your child, because sometimes, your child is dealing with trauma that you have gone through war. So they don't understand that, because of the pressure that they don't understand that like, all my parents want for me is for me to like succeed, but maybe I should understand that they're coming from a place of like care, and maybe they're coming from a place of like love, which obviously they are. But yeah, just a tip is to do some research and also just be there for your child physically, emotionally, and mentally.
Okay. Now, in terms of financial aid or money-wise, what are some things that parents should know in terms of supporting their children during the time that they are in college?
Well, it's different for everybody, but the income that you bring, and if you know that you can apply for financial aid, then please go ahead and do that. Everybody should be applying for FAFSA, whether or not you receive something or you don't. And if you don't receive anything, try to apply for scholarships. Now you're probably asking, how can I apply for scholarship? Where do I apply for scholarship? That comes with research, what I was saying earlier. So go online and go online on Google and Google some scholarships that are around. It can be some local scholarships, it can be some scholarships that has to do with a club or an activity that your child did in high school. But again, doing that research to like let them sign up for a scholarship or having them receive grants.
Mm-hmm. How about loans? What do you think of loans? Like should the student themselves and or the parents apply for loans, federal loans or private loans and stuff like that?
Nobody likes loans. I'm going to be honest with you. I am still paying off my loans. I wish, honestly, school in America is free for everybody. It is not fair for the parents who are middle class or low middle class who are still struggling paying off their kids' loans. Like I literally graduated 4 or 5 years ago, and I am still paying off my loan, unfortunately. My parents have been very helpful with paying, monthly for me, but I have also been paying too, and it's just is a struggle. But regarding loans, it's amazing if you can get a full ride. It's amazing if you can get your whole tuition paid off, but some kids, they don't have the luxury of that. So sign up for those loans. I know it's going to be a lot of anxiety, especially on the student, because I know I was going through it very, like, I was anxious. I was like, how am I going to pay this off? But my parents reassured me. They told me like, you'll pay it off, which hopefully my goal is in the next 3 years that I will.
Also, I know when you were in school, you were an RA. what is the pro or some of the pros and cons to be an RA, and what is an RA? So
An RA is a resident assistant or resident advisor at a university, and I took it upon myself to become an RA. And I know that, you know, I also have a younger sister, and she was also going to be going to college too when I graduate. So I know like my parents will also be signing off on loans for her as well, because she got into a 6-year pharmaceutical program to get her doctorate. So I knew myself that, okay, so it was very helpful financially, but also if you are not signing up to be an RA to also assist the residents and to also be there for the residents, and I wouldn't suggest you do it. Like if you're only doing it for the money, then your heart is not there. I love being around students, and I love being an aid or being of help to other people. So I knew that I was a really big people person, and I knew that I wanted to be that guidance or that mentor for the residents. So I had the opportunity to be a resident advisor for 2.5 years, and I was able to be with the first year students during my 2.5 years as an RA. So that really helped with my room and board. So that's what resident advisors, they basically, when you sign up to be a resident advisor, that is basically your job. You're able to fit it around your schedule depending on the university or depending on your, you know, housing director that makes a schedule for you. But it's basically your job. It's like a part-time job. Actually, it's like a full-time job, really, because you are dedicating your hours to, you know, do the rounds around the building, like checking if everybody's okay. You are dedicating yourself to being accommodating to the students that lock themselves out, or the students who came back from a late night party and they need assistance with like emergency services. So you really have to be there for them. They're calling you at 2 a.m. and you're asleep in your room. You need to get up and you need to be able to assist them in whatever needs. It's kind of like customer service with the students and also with the parents too, because, you know, they're all both stressed, especially if you're working with first year students. But again, if your heart is there, then you'll be totally fine. So not only did it help me financially, but it helped me grow as an individual, and it helped me build relationships with the parents and the students, and also just continue with my growth of like personal development.
I'm glad that you shared that. So would you recommend people to become an RA? Or you did say that if your heart is not into it, it would not be a good idea. Okay.
I had a wonderful RA during my first year, and I also had a wonderful RA during my like 2-3 months of my sophomore year before I became like a full RA during my term at URI. But I also know some of my friends who had terrible RAs. So like I said, I would only recommend it if you were agreeing to putting your heart, like I said, out there for the parents and the students. You know, you need to treat it like a job almost, and you need to also treat it with like respect, kindness, and know that you are not just doing it for the money. Like, yes, the money is nice, you know, because it compensates for your whole room and board, which is like amazing. It took off like $15,000 a year or a semester off my tuition. But if you're not doing it for the right purpose, then don't do it.
Okay. Now, for parents who have children, seniors, in terms of seniors at the high school, what are some things that parents should know before their children going to college, like the first year freshmen?
Some things that they should know is that your child is going to be stressed. Your child has no idea, you know. I mean, I'm speaking for myself, and I'm speaking also for my friends and also for my sister, but like we walked into it with no idea of what's going on, you know. And unless you come from a very privileged family where both your parents have gone to universities, or one of your parents have gone to a university and they have aided you through it all, my mom has gone, you know, she attained her master's, she went through, you know, several universities, but she was there for me. But there's some of the things, you know, she was in school like 20 years ago when I went, you know what I mean? So times has changed, so there's a lot of things that I had to learn like myself firsthand, and it's gonna hit you really hard, and that's something that you have to prepare your child for. You know, nobody is ready for the real world, but that is the real world experience when you are there, especially if you're living off campus. Not off campus, especially if you're living away from home. But yeah, again, another advice, like I said in the beginning, just look into resources and look into physically being there for your child, because emotionally it is a lot
like giving your child like compliments or supporting them by, you know, asking them how they're doing, just to see mentally, how emotionally, how they are doing. So it's good to just check up on your children, constantly calling them or texting them.
Provide me with extra allowance or money to just like get through the week, you know. My parents also, like, you know, I had the luxury of my second year, third year in school to have a car, and that's because my parents were able to, you know, fund that. But just again, just be there for your child, because they're going to need it, you know. And if you may not be there financially for them, just be there for them emotionally and physically, like my mom was saying, you know, checking up on them, because it is hard. School is not easy. Nobody said it was ever easy, you know, but like you don't want to be a nuisance to them. You may not want to be a nooch or like annoy them, but sometimes you gotta, you know, sometimes you just gotta let them know, like, hey, you know, mommy's here for you, or hey, puppy's here for you, or hey, I am proud of you. You know, like simple words like that can really make your child just have a boost of energy when they are getting through their courses.
They're cleaning the street. What are some things that you know, you would recommend the students to major in order for them to find a job or friends at the university or at the colleges? Like, what are some tips for the students themselves so that they can be able to be successful learning or college years?
The first question you asked, what major would they need to be into? No, like whatever major you want to go for that major. Whatever you want to pursue in life, you do that. I think unfortunately a lot of Asian parents, you know, they have this idea of like, my daughter has to be a doctor, my daughter has to be an engineer, my daughter has to be a financial whatever
Advisors
whatever
or
to get a lot, or accountant to get a lot of money. I chose the teacher route. We all know that teachers get paid
very little.
We know a lot of teachers get paid a penny, you know, and I know that was hard for my parents to accept. You know, like I was that Asian child that grew up, that my parents were very hard on me, you know, and they expected perfect grades, and I was not that child to provide the perfect grades. You know, so I know they had a difficult time with me compared to my sister. To just be there for your child when they tell you, like, I want to be a teacher or I want to go into theater, just support them.
Okay.
I know it may not be the answer that you want, but like, if that's their passion, why are you going to not support them in their passion? Why are you going to not allow them to be the best potential that they want to be, or the dream that they want to follow?
I know a lot of Asian parents, we want our children to be successful, and being successful,
and I
meaning,
understand, and I know I know a lot of you guys who are watching this are probably going to be very upset with my answer, but I know myself, you know, when I have a child, of course I want to direct them in the route where they are going to you know, get money and be successful in life. But if you are going to be miserable at your job, you know, working a 9-to-5, or, you know, your dream is not to become a doctor and you're doing it anyway for your parents, then you are not satisfying yourself. And I'm sorry to say that, but sometimes you need to break your parents' dreams in order to pursue yours. And I know my mom is behind the camera, like probably shaking her head, like, oh my goodness, like, no, I'm
not shaking my head. I'm laughing.
I'm being honest with you. Like, I know my parents did not, like, my mom kept asking me, are you sure you want to be a teacher? Like, are you positive? But I know in my heart, you know, like, I love serving students. I love being there for the little ones and guiding them to where they need to be in the next level.
I kept on saying that to you because I know how hard it is to be a teacher. And we don't get compensated in terms of money, salary wise, comparing to other professions. They get paid so much higher. Being a teacher, yes, the reward is, you know, you nurturing, you teaching children. You have a passion for teaching, and that's great. I didn't want you to become a teacher because I don't want you to struggle or have the challenges that I went through. You know how mommy felt.
Thank you
okay.
so much អរគុណច្រើនអ្នកនរគ្នា
ជម្រាបលា Okay ជម្រាបលា and បោ Go ahead ជម្រាបលា